So again, after you've gone up here and you've gone to your channel, we're under basic info. So you can put in your name here. Again, probably something a little more like professional. Okay. It will give you a YouTube handle here, and you can change it if you want. I think I'm just going to leave mine as it is. Okay. And then under description, like something like this is the official page for, me, right? But of course for you. And then that is your channel URL. There's nothing you can really do with it or whatever. And then the other thing you could do is you could add your email address, and you could also add any links to other sites like your ePortfolio or, Facebook page, those kinds of things. So anyways, but the bottom line is when you go to your channel, now that it's set up, you should have a picture up here. Okay. And if you click, see the tabs up here, if you click the tabs, why do I have so few videos? That's very interesting. All right, just a here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Great. And so how's everybody doing? Are we good? Does anybody need me to show that again or any parts of it? No, everybody's good. All right. So with your YouTube channel set up, then you can just leave it for now, and I'll explain what we're going to do with it after. Okay. So I'm just going to close up all my tabs here for that. And we are going to do a little bit of notes. Now, a second, let me just change this here to due date next week at 11:59 a.m. Okay. All right. Let me just assign that. There we go. And then don't forget under week 10 that we are also looking at screencasting and readings and resources. Okay. And so let's do some notes now, and then we'll come back to that. Okay. All right. So we've got screencasting on the go. So when we talk about screencasting, I'm just going to throw this link up on in the chat. And I just want you to watch the first, I think, like 30 seconds. You don't have to watch the whole video. So I'm just going to call this 2 squares. Okay, 2 squares. Okay. And I'm going to throw another link up because this one's a little bit different. Okay. And we'll call this one long division, actually. Okay. And watch about 30 seconds of each one. Okay. So if you look at the first video, the one that's called 2 squares, so it's a difference of 2 squares, that is a type of screencasting, right? So just like the how-to videos and the things that I give you on how to perform a skill, a screencast is anything that goes on your computer screen that you record, and then, of course, obviously, share with others. So there's that. So in that form of screencasting, you primarily see the screen. Sometimes you see the speaker, and sometimes you don't, right? In our videos that you're going to be creating, you'll be responsible to be on camera at all times. So in bottom corner, whatever corner it is that you are going to do that on, in that form of a video or of a screencast. So again, in the spirit and the true nature of the word screencast is you are actually doing something on your computer screen and you're sharing that with people. Okay. The second one, though, the one that was the YouTube one that was long division, is sort of still like a screencast, but it's not really casting your computer screen, right? You are actually recording yourself using a camera or webcam or your phone or something like that. And you might have a whiteboard behind you or a big piece of paper or something like that. And you're teaching a skill. I mean, so the similarities between the two of them is they both teach a skill or some type of skill. It's just how you sort of deliver that. Okay. So for our assignment, you can do either way. You can do a screencast of your computer screen with you in the bottom corner, that kind of idea. Or you can shoot a video of you in front of a whiteboard teaching a lesson, or a small skill or something like that, because you're restricted to 5 minutes as far as the length of the video goes. So it's going to have to be short and sweet and all that kind of jazz. Okay, so thoughts, questions on either one of those things? Okay, so I think that we're probably all more familiar now with screencasts or those types of videos than we ever have been, especially because of COVID and learning online and things like that. So some of you, maybe all of you, got these types of videos of a teacher teaching you some type of skill. Okay, so one thing with screencasting is we need to think about one of the very first things that we need to think about are time limits. Okay, now I think we've talked about this before, but if not, I'll mention it again. And if we did talk about it, it'll just be review. And if I didn't, something new. So when we talk about showing videos or having kids watch videos, now really this is in class or out of class. It really doesn't matter. 10 minutes seems to be the magic number on how long you should ask students to watch consecutively. Now, don't get me wrong, when you're watching a Disney movie on whatever the Disney Channel, you can watch it for 3 hours and it doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay, but when we're talking about educational videos, some of the same rules apply here as they did when we were talking about the brain lesson plan and chunks and chews and those kinds of things. So when I say there's a 10-minute kind of time limit, that doesn't mean you can't show a 45-minute video. All I'm saying is that you should break it up into smaller chunks. And of course, those chunks, 10 minutes is a guideline. So you can decide, maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 20 minutes, depends on your kids. If it's younger kids, maybe it's less. So the idea is 10 minutes, or if you just want to say here is break it up into shorter segments. Okay. Now, with a live class like this and the video being recorded, via Google Meet, even though this video could be 3 hours long, the ability for you to go into YouTube and use the little line at the bottom, right? That line, by the way, is called the scrubbing line. You can scrub through it to the parts that you want, and so you can watch just the pieces that you want. So, important thing to remember, okay? All right, so research shows, so if we talk about 10 minutes, our 10-minute sort of thing, so research shows that between 6 and 15 minutes is sort of the optimal time. Okay. And again, just depends on a lot of different factors, right? And when I'm talking about these time limits, I'm talking about, we're not showing, a movie, a Disney movie, let's say on a Friday when, you're having kind of like a party or something like that. I'm talking about something that you want to teach a skill to students, or something that they could use for review and go back and go, I don't remember how McDermott did the long divisions thing, so now I can watch that video over and over and over again. And we've got some time limits to sort of keep us in check a little bit. Okay. And even though you sometimes, you look at 6 minutes, 15 minutes, or Brad wants no more than a 5-minute video for the assignment, that might feel like a long time. But you all know, once you get rolling, it's really easy to go like 20 minutes over your time, right? I'm very guilty of that. So it's easy when you get caught up in your thing that you love and that you want to talk about, and you want to teach people, to need a lot more time. And that's cool. You can have it, but just break it up into those chunks. Okay, so let me just make a new page here. So when we talk about making videos, we can actually, maybe I don't want to, I'm going to actually just give that like a new title. So I'm just going to put making videos. Right. So, of course, when you make a video, it can be on a specific topic. It can have different sections. It can have a conclusion. And I'll go summary. Okay, so all, you know, if you really think about Madeline Hunter and the steps, it could have, and we just break them down into real basic. Your video should have like a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So an introduction saying, hey, welcome to my video. Today we're going to talk about long division and all the steps you need to do to complete a long division question. Blah, 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 blah. Middle section is you actually showing them how to do it. And in conclusion, here are the things that you should take away from this video. This thing, you know, the other thing, whatever it is that happens to be. Okay. So a specific topic, different sections, a conclusion, a summary. And I'm just going to throw this in here. There should be a sort of a logical progression. And when I say logical progression, that is because you have pre-planned your video. You're not just winging it and going, oh, I'm just going to wing it and talk about whatever I want. You should have, just like if you were teaching a lesson face-to-face with your students, at a bare minimum, I don't know, you should have some type of piece of paper with some talking points, right? The things that you want to talk about in your video, and not just winging it and trying to, you know, think of things off the top of your head. You should have some things written down that you want students to take away, right? And things that the talking points then also give you that confidence of, I know what I'm talking about. Here's a sequence I need to talk about these things in, and by the end, you have a pretty good video. Okay. All right. So one of the things that the experts say, that if you're going to sort of jump into this video creation world, is that you should record, right? Record. I'll say lessons on what some of the experts refer to as sticky topics. Okay. And so, and sticky topics, I guess we could just add on to that. Topics students struggle with. Students struggle with. And I'm sure that we've all sat down at the homework table, wherever that is, you know, the homework location in your house or wherever it is that you live. And you've all, you know, and think of it, it's just through K to 12, even up to, you know, RDP, is that you've sat down and went, man, I wish McDermott was here again to explain this, or I wish I could hear this again. He only explained it once in class and now I forget. But you know, with a video on that topic, or those things that you know that students struggle with, if you can create videos for those, then they can go back and they can watch them as many times as they want. And remember, when we do this, we've talked about this 8 to the 4th power thing, right? So with videos, then we can really, you know, personalize this learning where students can learn anytime, right? With anyone, right? The experts say that you should make the videos on your own topics, but sometimes totally, like completely, a company or somebody else will make a way better, way more professional type of video than maybe you've got the software or the technology for. So I'm not saying that you always have to use your own videos, but I'd say where you can, make your own videos. And we'll talk about why that's important in a second. Okay. So anytime, anyone, right? Anywhere, or any place, if you want to put that. I'm going to put anywhere. Right. And then the last A on that whole thing is, you know, at your own pace, right? Your own pace, right? So again, if that student wants to watch that video over and over and over and over again until they kind of get it, then that's the beauty of video, right? In a face-to-face classroom, students might be lucky if they get 2 explanations, right? And on a video that you send home, and we'll use long division as our example, on long division, students can watch it over and over and over again. And of course, you're probably going to end up doing more than one question as well. Okay, you might do one, again, if you're talking about long division, you might do one without remainders and one with remainders and that kind of idea. Okay. All right, let me make a new page here. All right, let me just scroll down to my notes as well here. There we go. So when you set up this YouTube channel, what we want to do, right, and this is the reason that we do this, is we want to personalize, I'm going to say, your own online presence. Right? And all the videos, here, we'll make that like a little subtitle there. All the videos that I prepare on my YouTube channel, and I've got, I don't know, over a couple hundred now. Let me just find my YouTube channel here for 1 second. Right? All of these videos, you'll notice here as I scroll down and we look down, is they're unlisted. And you can decide whether they're unlisted, private, or public, right? I make mine all unlisted, which means that only people with the link can actually view it. Now, that doesn't mean that other people can't share it with whomever they like, but it does sort of keep it a little bit more private. Not so private that no one can see it, because that's what private means. It's private only to you, right? With unlisted, even though it is only going out to people that have the link, there are still rules that you'll end up having to follow. Okay. And then, of course, obviously public means like anybody could search it, they can find it, that kind of thing. Okay. And scheduling videos is exactly what it means. You can schedule it for a release date and time and all that jazz. Okay. So like I said, you will notice, oopsie, did I do that there? Unlisted, say, there we go, is I make all of my videos unlisted. Now, I don't know why this one isn't, but we'll make it unlisted again and I'll save it there. So it's just that easy. If you go through your list here and you can see I've got all these unlisted videos. Okay. All right. So, and again, if I go to my YouTube channel, right? If I go to my channel here, you can see what my content is. If I go back to that dashboard, there's a dashboard. There's all kinds of different things that you can do here in YouTube. All right. But we want to personalize it. So again, when we talk about digital citizenship, if I were going to Google your name, potentially your YouTube channel might come up, and people will see the videos that you're making for students and having that positive influence. And of course, that's what type of things that get you hired for a job later on, right? Okay, so personalize your online presence, right? It can create a positive image, right? It can demonstrate your, I'm going to say, body of knowledge, okay? And I'm using those 3 words here, body of knowledge, very intentionally, because don't forget that those body of knowledge is what TQS number 3 is all about, right? Your professional body of knowledge, right? So again, you want to be an English teacher? What skills do you have? You want to be a phys ed teacher? Same thing. Art, pick your subject, doesn't matter. What body of knowledge, what skills, what knowledge do you have that gives you, I'll say, the right to teach that subject, right? So we're creating this positive image. We're demonstrating your body of knowledge. And that is good digital citizenship, right? And again, whether you keep them unlisted or you keep them public or whatever, it's totally up to you. So, and this is also here another way to connect with students, and I'm going to say also with parents, because parents or guardians or an adult of some sort might be the helper, and they might need a quick refresher on whatever it is you're teaching too. And it's like, oh, right, I remember that now. And then they can help. Okay. So it's a way to connect in a positive way with your students and with your parents and that stuff as well. Okay. So even if you're not teaching long division or some skill, right? Think of you art people, phys ed people. I mean, I can think of almost every single subject that you could use a how-to or a helper video in, right? Phys ed, shop, foods and fashions, art, drama, English, science. So like, I think all of them, social, all of them, I think you could do. Math, especially math, right? That kind of stuff. Okay. So with that said though, the other side of that is you don't have to make helper videos. You can make a video of like, welcome to my class. Thanks for being here, that kind of stuff. So you can make videos. I'll say make video introductions. Okay. You can sort of make, I'm going to say public service announcements, PSAs, right? And so what I mean by that is like an intro to a unit of study, right? And it could be something just like this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, Monday, we're starting our new unit on, I don't know, sky science. And I just wanted to welcome everybody, and I want you to make sure you keep your eyes up on the sky and that, you know, blah, 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 right? That kind of idea. So you can use a video to do almost anything you want. Okay. So definitely you can introduce a unit of study, like, you know, this week's, topic, right? So it might be a shorter than you know, a whole unit of study. It might just be something you're working on this week, right? And so it kind of lays the foundation or gives your students an idea of what to expect for whatever's coming up in their lives. And the other thing that we need to think about here too is that these helper videos are not just for online learning, right? It can be for face-to-face. You see these kids every single day, but you can still post stuff to your YouTube channel or to your Google Classroom or wherever it might be. I would say my recommendation, the way that I do it, is that you post the video up to YouTube so you have it there forever. And then you take the link and you use that in Google Classroom. So it's kind of one-stop shopping, and we're not having students have to go there for one thing and up to that place for another thing, you know, all over the place. So if it's all at one-stop shopping, which really is, again, the basic purpose of Google Classroom, it's much more easy for everyone to find what they need to find. Okay. All right. One of the other things that the experts talk about here is about flipping a lesson. Now, they're not talking about your middle finger on your hand, not that kind of flipping, just flipping a lesson. Okay. And again, I'm just going to put in the word sticky topics. Okay. Now, we haven't really talked about this in depth, and we'll probably get to it here before the end of the term, is when we flip a lesson, what we're really doing is we are flipping sort of the way we teach. And I'll show you what I mean by that sort of in a little diagram here. Let's say traditionally, what we do is that we teach content directly. Okay. So I stand here even like I'm doing now, whether we're face-to-face or we're online, I'd be doing the exact same thing. Okay. So we teach that content directly. Okay. And then after we do that, and think of Madeline Hunter's steps of lesson planning, right? I teach that content directly. And then basically what I do is I assign work. Okay. And that work can be in school, or what we call obviously is homework. Okay. And we've talked about homework when we talked about our lesson plans is that, remember, we talked about independent practice. I'll try to squeeze that in there. There we go. Right. We talked about independent practice should not be homework. You should give students a chance in class to at least try a couple, whatever questions, whatever things that you want them to do before you send them off home to finish it off. Right. So that's how we have it as a traditional. When we flip a lesson or we flip a class, doesn't matter which way you want to do it, we actually, what occurs is literally the opposite of what I just explained, is that, so, and traditionally we have to, I just want you, we'll put at school. Okay. And for flipping a lesson, we're going to put at home. Okay. And so here, when we flip a lesson, what happens at home is students get the content right at home. So that could be through a series of videos, that could be through however you want to set it up. And again, Google Classroom is a perfect sort of launch pad for that, is that we can use video and Google Classroom and things that are linked in our Google Drives so that kids can get the stuff at home. So what we're doing is we're giving content at home, and then kids come to school. I'm going to write this down here. Come to school to do the homework. Okay, that's a radical shift in the way we think. And there's a whole body of knowledge about flipping classrooms, flipping lessons, flipping everything. The two experts who sort of came up with this idea, John Bergman and Aaron Sam, sorry, I got their names now, say very, very explicitly that when you start thinking with this sort of mindset of flipping things, is that you should start with the sticky topics, right? Again, pick a topic that you know that students struggle with, and create a video for that, or create some resources for that, so that students can do that at home and watch it at home and get the content. So we'll talk more about flipping classrooms and lessons and stuff like that later on, but basically that's the premise of it, is that we're taking what we do at school, what I deliver as a teacher, and that's actually at home. And then the kids come for homework. Now, there's a whole bunch of questions and things that go around that, but that's just the essence of what it is. Okay, let me there we go. So when we flip a lesson, we'll just continue here. I just don't have enough room, so I'll make a new page, right? So under flipping lessons, we can put this: students will come to class already knowing the basics. Okay, and that will be through your video, knowing the basics, and the other resources that you might set up for them in Google Classroom. One of the things that I talk about, and one of the things that I create for this type of learning is something called a hyperdoc. Okay, you can put a hyperdoc just down here in our notes, and when we talk about flip lessons more in depth, we will talk more about hyperdocs as well. Okay, all right, so students will, now of course, the age-old question is, what if they don't watch the videos? Okay, totally. But the same thing could be applied to the traditional model. If I go back for one page, and I could ask the same question for this. Well, what if they don't do the homework when you assign it, and then they come to class and they don't have it done, right? There's loads of different strategies that you can do. And Bergman and Sam's talk about what can happen, or what should happen, when kids come and they haven't done the pre-work, so that they can actually do their homework with you in class. And you think about the power of that, right? Is that You can work with individual students who are not getting the content. You could work with small groups of students who aren't getting the content while everyone else works on whatever it is that you want them to work on. And that really frees you, if you think about it in the model, it really frees you up to work with individual students one-on-one and help them, or small groups, while the rest of the people who get it and watch the videos and are now doing their homework in class work together or work individually, or however you want to set it up. But it is a really powerful model for certain things. I don't know if you should flip everything that you do, but I certainly think that I agree with the experts that you could and should flip those sticky topics that kids have a real hard time with. Okay. All right. Right. So if they already know the basics, and we'll talk that we can deliver that sort of via HyperDocs. One of the other things that we can add here is that more time can be spent on higher order thinking skills, and I'll put in brackets here, activities, right? And here we can also add the word homework so that we can sort of keep that in mind, right? I should make a big bracket like so, right? So more time can be spent on these higher order thinking skills or activities in class. Okay. Of course, when we talk about higher order thinking skills here, okay, we're also, that can involve things like discussions, right? I'll say practical activities, like real world meaningful activities that students will be able to use, right? Group projects, and when I say group, when I say group projects, I really mean of any size. So it could be small groups, it could be medium size, it could be larger groups, but they're working collaboratively in groups. All right, and then of course here, 1-to-1 help, right? So again, we have that opportunity when students come prepared to class to be able to do this one-to-one help. And again, if students are doing the content at home, that frees you up for the whole 20, 30, 40, 80 minutes to actually help students that need the help, right? Sounds like a good idea. It worked great. But it takes some time to get students used to it, get parents used to it, get you used to it, get admin, like all the stakeholders that might have something to say about it. It does take some time. Okay. All right. One of the other things that it can do when we talk about videos is, I'll just write this here down, is videos can teach when you can't. Right, a little exclamation mark behind that, right? Think of you having to be absent, and you could pick for whatever reason you want, whether you're sick, it's bad weather, I don't know, your car wouldn't start in the morning, whatever it might be. You can use video like we're just doing right this very minute, and you can still deliver your content, your lesson, homework, everything that you want to do via Google Classroom or via Google Meet or whatever other products you might be using. So you can teach when you're absent. Think of, even, it doesn't even have to be something bad. Let's say you're going to the division office to do a PD session on, I don't know, on something, right? And you can't be there today. Well, boom, you can make a whole series of videos that your kids could even watch in class with the sub and still have you there doing like the teaching, and the sub just helps supervise and make sure kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So these videos are, again, not just for when you are and your students are in different locations, They can be when you're face to face. They can be when you have a sub. There can be all kinds of different things that kids can watch from anywhere, right? And of course, if it's bad weather or it's too, too cold, too snowy, whatever it might be, kids are at home as well. So now so you actually made it to the school, but you had busloads of kids that couldn't come. So what do? Well, the typical thing that we do is we basically babysit for the day, right? Well, I can't really teach any new content because I've got 6 kids here and the other 20 whatever are not here today because they're bus kids or whatever, right? So everybody hops online again onto Google Meet or whatever video conferencing thing you want to use, and you can have videos, you could have live sessions, you could have whatever you want. So the whole idea of this separation really doesn't come into play anymore with the technology that we have. Okay. One of the other things that we can use video for is that we can talk through assignments. So, right, if I gave an assignment and I'm not here face to face, I could say, okay, go to Google Classroom. I number my assignments because it's much easier for students to find it then. So, find assignment 18. And here's what you need to do on it, boys and girls, blah, 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 talk about it, right? So you can talk through assignments, but you can also talk through, and I do this, but I only do it when I have small classes. The last time I did it was for a class of 10. So when you have classes of 40 and bigger, this is much harder to do, but you can talk through the grading process. Okay, so think about you have a student's assignment up on the screen and you're creating a video and you're scrolling through it saying, okay, you know what? This paragraph's really excellent. You really hit the topic well, and you've got a good sentence or topic and concluding sentences. But here in paragraph 2, here's the issue that I'm having with paragraph 2. And you could explain it, right? So you could talk through the grading process when it works, okay? So, and works really is just the number of students that you have, okay? All right. Right. So when you talk through, when you do either one of these, right? Let's say I'm just trying to paraphrase my notes here. You can walk through the assignment much more quickly. Okay. I can talk faster and record a video with whatever I have to say faster than we can actually write it, right? So there's that transference kind of slows this down a bit. So in a video with, showing me like it's showing the camera showing me now, I can walk through a lot more content in a video format than I could in a written format, right? So, and then of course, when we talk about walking them through or talking them through an assignment or a grading thing. Again, students, I was going to use the word love to see you on video. And why? It's because they have a connection with you already, have a connection. Right, with you. Okay. And you've already set that up at the beginning of the year. You've spent all that time building relationships, those kinds of things. And again, the experts say that if you're going to use helper videos, again, remember I said there are some that are like you just can't beat. You just the professional level that they've put into making these videos, fancy and pretty and all that jazz. Sometimes it just takes hours to do. Sometimes you don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have the technology, either software, hardware to do it. So then, yeah, sometimes you can use other people's videos. But again, the research shows and the experts say that students much prefer seeing videos of you doing the explanations or doing the lesson or do the grading or whatever it is that you're doing. So that's important to remember. Okay, so let's go here, and we can have that. Well, it's, I don't know if it's a little topic, maybe it's kind of a little subtopic, is we can teach, right, hands-on skills. And if you think about topics and grades and subjects and what kids are doing in it, we already all know that there's 3 modalities for learning, right? We know that there is the auditory, there's the visual, and of course we know that there's the kinesthetic. And when we talk about hands-on skills, we're talking about the kinesthetic, right? But then also we also know that the more times we can combine these 3 things together, that people then are more apt to remember it. So people like to hear it, people like to, you know, see it, but also people like to do it, right? So, and then when we talk about hands-on skills, I think we just have to remember that some things that, you know, that we do in the classroom, some things are best shown in person. Okay. Right. So if you were thinking about, let's think about a shop class for a second. You're teaching saw skills, right? Yeah, I think it probably would be better for them to be in the shop, listening to you, hearing the noise of the saw and the smell of the wood and all that jazz in person. But that does not necessarily negate that you couldn't even video that whole process so that students could review it and then, you know, do the safety tests and all that kind of stuff before they actually get on the equipment. And if you think about other applications for this in nursing or in medicine in general, what about you foods and fashions people, right? What about a video of you cooking or putting together a meal? You know, anything that's done that is electronic, or you want to show kids how to put something together, all of those kinds of things. So all of those things are good on video, but also hands-on skills face-to-face is important as well when you can, right? In this class, we can't do that, right? We don't have a face-to-face version of this class, not with respect to like our bodies all being in the same room kind of idea. Okay. All right. So also when we're talking about videos, right, is that videos ensure, now, I mean, you can use that word lightly, but we'll use it in this case. Videos ensure that all your students right, all of your students see your lesson. And specifically, or maybe most importantly, step number 4 of Hunter, right? I'll just say Hunter here, right? Which, if you can recall, who knows what it is? What's step number 4 of Hunters? You can either put your mic on or type it in the chat. What's step number 4? Nobody knows? Really? Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Caleb. It is modeling or demonstration, right? Model/demo, right? That is step number 4 of Hunter's lesson plan. So we can use video to help us in that process when students can't be there or they're absent for whatever reason. They can use the videos to catch up. So a great application of these, because you get this all the time when you are a teacher, is, hey, Ms. McDermott, you know, my husband or our family can only take holidays during this time of the year because, you know, somebody is away and, you know, most of the year or whatever, and we can't really get together at any other time. So right in the middle of the school year, we're taking our kids to Hawaii, right? And could you please put some homework together so they have some homework to do when they're in Hawaii and they don't get too far behind? Well, prior to all of the technology that we can do what we're doing right now, I would tell parents, you know what, don't worry about it. We'll get them caught up when they're back, right? My philosophy is, if you're going to Hawaii, enjoy it. You should be doing homework, right? So, but nowadays, if the parents insisted, they could say, okay, you know what? I go to my Google Classroom. You can log in every day. All my stuff is there, the assignments, the demos, the, you know, whatever the kids need to learn the topic or the subject, it's all there. So if you want them to do homework, there you go. So so students can watch those videos anywhere, anytime, all that jazz, even when they're off this continent, right, in some other place. So, and of course, it fits our A4 model. It also is a way to differentiate your instruction. So we can put that down, you know, video allows us to, let's see, back up, Bradley, to differentiate and we've heard this word before when we talked about Google Classroom, personalize, I'll say the lesson, right? Because I could make more than one video, couldn't I? I could make one video for my kids who are at the lower end. I could make a more challenging video with more challenging things to do or whatever for my higher end kids. And I could also make a video for my middle of the road kids. So video allows us to personalize that learning a little bit more. It helps us differentiate what we're doing a little bit more, especially in content delivery and in, you know, the assignments, those kinds of things. So we've got that part in it. How are we doing for time? Let's go for a couple more minutes here. Now, let's flip this whole dynamic for 1 second, and not like flipping the lesson, but let's just flip the whole dynamic of teacher, learner, learner, teacher, that kind of stuff. Because remember when we talked about Google Classroom, one of the things we talked about is that Google Classroom is offered on your regular Gmail accounts for anybody who's got a Gmail account, because Google believes that everybody can be a teacher and everybody can be a learner. So helper videos. So when we talk about videos, you can have students create videos to demonstrate topic understanding. Okay, so I can tell you something for sure that I know, and it is this, that there are very few students, if really any, that love the following statement. And I'll just pick on two of you. Sam and Tasana, it just pretend we're face to face in the classroom. Come up to the front and I'd like you to role play something, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, please don't do this to me, right? But when you do that exact same thing and make it like a homework project and say, okay, Sam and Tasana, you are partners, and for Friday you have this assignment and you need to create a video of one of you explaining the topic to the other or vice versa, and that those videos are due on Friday, right? I think probably almost every student you have has access to some type of video camera, whether it be on a phone or a tablet or a laptop or just a good old-fashioned video camera. Kids have access to that, and kids are much more willing to do a video where they can do it in the the comfort of their bedroom or the basement or wherever, out in the woods, and explain a topic or show their understanding in some way, than it would be by putting them on the spot in class, come up to the front, that kind of idea. Okay, so when we use videos to help students demonstrate their understanding, we can use, just like we did at the very beginning of the term, you could even use a site like Flip, right? It used to be called Flipgrid, but I don't know why they changed the name, but you could use a site like Flip. So it's got the software on there. Again, students would need a device that has a camera. And again, doesn't matter whether it's a phone, tablet, or a computer. All of those devices have a camera, and you could use Flip for them to do their assignments. So you could use that platform. You could use YouTube. I mean, and there's others that you could use as well. But Flip is one that I like because you can also limit the amount of time they have, which you know from the beginning of the term assignment, where you had 90 seconds to, answer those 10 questions at the very beginning. So it's not only you using videos to show, demonstrate skills and things like that to students. Students could do the exact same thing back to you as the teacher. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll just do let's call it a 10-minute break, and we're pretty close to getting the notes done here, and then that'll leave us time to finish the notes off and talk about the assignment a little bit more, and then we can go from there. So if you've got questions or things on your mind, write them down so you don't forget, and then in 10 minutes we'll come back. In that 10 minutes, I will mute my camera and my mic, and then I'll put a timer up, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, thanks everyone. All right, we're back here in just a few seconds. I'll just turn that off. I'll leave that open for now. Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. We've got just a little bit more notes to go on. One of the things that I wrote down just so I wouldn't forget over the break was that when you're doing these videos, you're creating videos, you don't have to be flipping a classroom. But when you're doing videos, you can also use it in this way. So you're working with a small group of students, or you're working with some student or whatever, and another student comes up to you, or maybe a couple students come and say, "We don't understand what to do, Mr. McDermott." Well, you know what you can say, instead of saying, "Listen, you know what, I'm helping this person or these people right now, you have to wait," or whatever. You can say, "You know what, go to Google Classroom, under assignment number 22, there's a video there that shows you what you're supposed to be doing. So go ahead and look at that video. And then if you got questions after you watch the video, come see me." So you could use a video in that format as well. Okay. Now, were there any questions before I get going here again? Did anybody come up with any questions or any thoughts? No? Everybody's good? Okay, awesome. All right. So we talked about students creating their videos. So also these videos, let's say videos can be a valuable study resource. Okay. What else do I got here? Going back. Okay, right. So, and of course, with respect of, being able to rewatch, demonstrations and content and stuff, being able to rewatch. Okay. All right. Let's just talk about a little bit about research. So research found, or some of the research found, that 86% of students used recorded lectures as a resource for studying, as a resource for studying. Or I'll just say for study, because I don't have enough room there. Okay. So then when we talk about students, this is actually like older students, not like grade 1 kids or stuff like that, but just older students. Okay, I don't have enough room here, so I'm just going to move on to a different page here and just say the next thing that I've got down here is that then 99%, right? 99% of students would like all their professors would like all their, I'm just going to use the word teachers instead if you want. I'm going to go professors, and then I'll put in brackets teachers, professors teachers to record their lectures. Right. And there's lots of advantages to that. And one of the advantages, or the big advantages, would be able to kind of go through the material at your own pace and as quickly or as slowly as you need or want it to be. Okay. One of the other things when we talk about that is that when we go to a YouTube video, let me just go there and show you something here. And maybe you knew this, maybe you don't, I don't know. Let's see, when you go to a YouTube video, and let's go here, day 6 lecture, that's us. Let's just go, I think we can just do it this way. All right. Let's not listen to me any more than we have to. Under this more menu button, if you go there, you can go show transcript. When you do that, then what it does is it shows you in a text format everything that was said. So if you were looking for a specific thing in a video or a lecture, you could actually scroll through the transcript and find that particular spot. Oh, here, Bloom's taxonomy. That's exactly what I wanted. Click, and it actually takes you that part of the video. So video transcript is not only good for you, but it's also very, very good for your students to know that they can go to the transcript version of things and kind of go through that lecture at their own pace. Okay, so we had 99% of students would like all of their teachers to record videos. Just scroll here a little bit. And let's have a couple new rules here. They're going to add in here. And we're going to say no passive video watching. Okay, so that would be whether they're watching them in class, individually, whole group, small group, doesn't matter, in class or out of class. Okay, so that's one rule. And we know the 10-minute rule, so we need to break it up into 10-minute chunks. So no passive video watching. So you should be having something for them to do during the video. It could be taking notes. It could be if you deliver the video in a Google form like we did at the beginning of the year, where like a quiz, you could have the video and the questions in a Google form, right? And so there's lots of different things that you could do. One of the other things, and I'm just going to put this down right now because it's one of my favorite sites. It's called Edpuzzle. Okay. And if you go to, let's say here, my YouTube channel again, and go to my videos, and I actually could do this any video. It doesn't matter. I'll just do it with one of mine though here. You'll see, and you may or may not have this, probably not, but you'll see that I've got a button right here that says Edit with Edpuzzle. And so when I click that, it'll take me to the site for Edpuzzle. Now I don't have an Edpuzzle set up for this video, so I'm just going to use a different one here. Let me just pop it up in my notes. Let me. Oh, I might need to log in here. Just a sec here. Hold on here for 1 sec. Oh, just a sec here. Hold on. Why is that not working for me? Log in. I'm a teacher. Log in. There we go. Okay. Let me send. I'm going to send you a video here. All right. Here's an example. My apologies here. This is still not working the way I want it. Hold on here. Where is that? Ah, there we go. Sign. All right, that video is not working for me. Let's do that one. Sign. Let's just see if this works here. I think this will work. Let me just move this up to my next screen here so you can see it. So what Edpuzzle does, let me just go back here, is you can add videos using the Edpuzzle website to this site. And then what you do is you can, as students watch this video, let me just show you here for a sec. As students watch this video, and I'm just going to scooch it up here so you don't have to watch all of it. Okay. Okay. And so as students watch this video, you can see where these little teardrops are here at the bottom. Then what you can do is you can add questions to the video. And you can see here that I have an open-ended question, open-ended, open-ended, multiple choice, and open-ended. So you can assign a video for any video that's on YouTube already, or any video that you create. And then what you can do is you can add questions to the video. And then here on Edpuzzle's website, what it does is there's a whole back end for the teacher to see who did what and whether students answered the questions correctly or not, those kinds of things. You can assign them directly to Google Classroom as well. There's all kinds of different things you can do. So if you're thinking that sometime along the way you would like to assign videos to students, but you want them to be to actually have to do something in other than just watch the video and whatever, you can use a site like Edpuzzle. Okay, I won't get into it too deeply there. All right, so no passive video watching was the moral of the story, so that we have students doing something when they are actually playing around with the video. Okay, with videos can help show learning in real time. Okay, and one site that's really, really good for that, if you're not familiar with it, is the Khan Academy. Okay, as a matter of fact, if you're taking chemistry or physics or math, even right now, and you're struggling with a topic or a concept, if you went to the Khan Academy, I can almost guarantee you that there is probably a video on there of someone showing you how you solve that problem or whatever it is. There's so much content on there now. It really is actually amazing. And you can track yourself, you can track your students, you can track your kids on the Khan Academy and see what they're getting, what they're struggling with, how much time they spent on each one of the concepts. And there's all kinds of great data that comes from the Khan Academy that can help you, or as a teacher, or you as a parent, with a child's or a student's learning. So the Khan Academy is another really great one. And I mention it because it does show that kind of learning in real time. It also can show who's engaged or not, right? So again, with the Khan Academy or something like Edpuzzle, you can see students who are watching the videos and answering the questions and all of those kinds of things, and see who's engaged or who's not actually doing the work. And then, of course, then we have conversations that we need to have with students that aren't actually doing the work, right? So I'm going to give you a link here. Let's just see if it'll go this way. And this is just an FYI link, but it will potentially help you when you are creating your own screencasts. And no, it didn't give it to you there. Let me just copy that link in my notes. Copy link. So tuck this one away for later on, but there's a link there for 24 tips for creating high quality screencasts. Okay, so there's some ideas there that you might just want to browse over and see before you start making your own videos on how you can make your videos, I don't know, better. Okay, all right, we're all on the home stretch here for as far as notes go. So let's we're gonna have a topic heading, but it's going to be a question, and that question is going to be, why make educational videos? Educational videos. There we go. Of course, that's the question mark. All right. All right. One is it is a way to allow or allows for flipping your class. And again, the experts say start small with a sticky topic that students are having problems with. Okay, and it'll be very apparent very quickly what students get or what they don't get, and then which videos you want to either create or find somewhere else to help them out. Okay, now I'm going to write down saves time, but I'm going to add a little condition or caveat onto that. That is, obviously, it saves time once the videos are recorded. Okay, but once they're recorded, that's when the real magic happens. So again, I'll use long division as my example because it's a classic one. Is if I make a video on how to solve long division questions with or without a remainder, and I have 2 or 3 examples in that video, or maybe 2 different videos, then I have those videos forever, don't I? Right? Because once they're made and I put them up on YouTube or some other video service, you don't have to use YouTube, of course, then they're there forever. And then next time you teach long division and students are having a problem, or you want to just add it to your Google Classroom as a resource or as a material, right? Then what you can do is you've got that video forever. And so, like I said, there's a little bit of work on the front end, but once you have it done, you can use it over and over and over again, right? And of course, there might be some things that you do record that need to be updated, especially if it's like a technology skill or something like that. Sometimes those things change, but then you're only making a video here or there. You're not making, 20 videos a day kind of idea. Okay, so it saves time once the videos are recorded, right? And then you can use it from class to class, year to year. It's all good. Okay, number 3, and this would serve for this assignment that's coming up, is creating a video is a great way to observe and critique your self-teaching. Okay, it's also a good way if you have students that are creating videos and those videos are used to demonstrate some concept or some type of learning, students can go back and watch their own videos and critique themselves and how did they do, right? So if you think if let's say like a drama class, right, or a phys ed class, right, or some other class that's got a performance-based type of skill like that, students can go back and watch themselves do a layup or watch themselves I don't know, creating something in the shop or in the foods room, those kinds of things. So kids can go back. Right. If you are creating a video of yourself, especially like if you're in the classroom or there's kids around, one of the things that you have to do is you need to make sure your kids are wiped, right? Freedom of Information and Privacy Protection, I think is what it stands for, right? So, and of course, most schools do this right now at the very beginning of the year, and they send that FOIP form home. And then that way, if you're taking pictures and you're posting to social media, or you're taking a video when the kids are on a field trip or something, you have permission to include, you know, the children that are FOIPed and the parents that have given you permission to use, you know, their images if you want. Now, just remember that there may be instances where parents don't want you to share pictures or videos of their children. And so you need to respect that, because usually there is a very good reason why, and that usually involves something or someone in that child's or that family's life that they're hiding from, right? It could be a dad, it could be the mom, it could be anybody, right? But they don't want anyone to know where they are. And obviously video can give that away, right? So make sure that your kids are FOIPed, and that you've got that permission to be able to use that video or those pictures. Oh, and one other thing too, speaking of just sort of like privacy and stuff like that, even when you're doing your own video, be aware of what's behind you in your room, right? Maybe you want pictures of your family or things that identify you or where you're at or where you live, those kinds of things. So make sure that you create an environment where you're shooting your videos, where you're keeping yourself safe as well, not just your kids. Okay, so that's really, really important to think about. Okay, we're going to do number 4. Let's see if I can squeeze that in here. We can keep absent students up to date. Absent. Now, we said that already, to keep absent students up to date. Okay, and again, for whatever reason that they are absent. Okay, so again, it could be health issues, it could be weather, it could be anything, right? And then when we do that, so keep absent students up to date, then I want to add a little sub point here, but I don't have enough room, so I'm gonna have to go to the next page. So on there, I want you to think about this. So think of the time you'll save by creating and sharing your videos. What do I mean by that? Well, what typically happens traditionally is when a student is away, and like I said in that Hawaii example that I mentioned earlier, is don't worry about homework, I'll catch that student up when they get back. Well, how do I catch that student up? Well, I catch that student up on my time, right? That time is before school, after school, lunch hours, recesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is my time. Now, think of the time that you would save in the long run is if you had videos on those concepts that student missed while they were gone or absent for whatever reason. And you could say, watch the videos. And if you don't understand, then you can come and talk to me, right? So the videos will save you time in the long run for a whole bunch of different reasons themselves. Now, that is the end of notes. Thoughts, questions? Is there anything you want me to talk about again or go over? No? Everybody's good? Okay. Let's switch gears then. And switching gears will actually involve us going to Google Classroom. And in Google Classroom under week 10, there is, of course, the screencasting, readings, and resources stuff that you should read. It's about 15 minutes worth of reading. Please make sure that you do it. Obviously, it's important. And then the next thing down is the actual assignment. And I'll just pop that up bigger here. Okay. And so when we do this assignment, I initially would like you to use a website like Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic or another type of one like that. Now, when I say Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic, what I'm talking about is if you're going to create a video that's screen-based, okay? If you're going to do the video where, like I said, you're teaching in front of a whiteboard or a chart, big chart of white paper or something like that, then that's a little bit different. But in essence, it's the same idea. You're taking a piece of content, a topic, and you're going to deliver it. Whether you deliver it on the screen or on the whiteboard behind you, it's exactly the same thing. Okay, because it's an assignment that you're going to give to kids, or a video that kids can watch. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting on your bum doing what I'm doing right now, or you're standing up at a whiteboard, teaching a topic. Okay, so I recommend Screencastify. I have tried a variety of different like video services or whatever you want to call them, and I find that Screencastify is the easiest. Now, I have it installed in my Chrome browser. I would imagine it's probably available in other browsers as well. But what I like about it is I can come, because I've got it up here in my extensions, way up here in the top, and you can see it's kind of like a little arrow. Maybe you can't see it, it's pretty small. But if I click it and it's installed, then it gives me this little menu. And I've already set up a bunch of preferences and stuff. And all I need to do is hit record, and the magic happens. Okay, now in the settings here, if you're using Screencastify, there's also the little setting. You can see I've got it turned off right now, but you would need to turn it on so that you turn on your webcam, and then again you get that little picture of you in the bottom. In the checklist for the assignment, it says you have to be on the video the whole time. Okay, and then one of the other things that you can't do for this assignment, because it is pretty popular that people do it, is they walk through a slideshow and they'll talk through a slideshow, but they video talking through the slideshow. No talking through slideshows. Okay, now I would again recommend that you choose a grade, topic, or subject that is something that you're interested in. It could be something fresh and new from what you've been previously doing, or you could tie it into all the other things that you've already done with respect to Google Classroom and other assignments along the way. Also, you creating this video is an excellent artifact to add to your ePortfolio. And if you're going to add it to your ePortfolio, I would recommend that you could add it in probably, well, depends what your video is on, but you could add it for sure in one of two places, or you could add it in both if you wanted. Is one, I would add it to TQS number 1. That's showing how you communicate and build rapport with students, teachers, that kind of parents, that kind of idea. Or you could add it to TQS number 3, which is demonstrating a body of knowledge. But of course, you could add it to TQS number 4. If you were videoing your class showing inclusion, you could add it to number 5. If you were talking about FNMI or something to do with First Nations media Inuit people, of course you could add it there. So, but for sure, you could add it to number 1 and number 3 in the TQS competencies. Okay, so there is a video here on how to set up your YouTube channel. So if you missed that or you're not sure, here's your helper video for Brad to show you how to do it. There is a link to Edpuzzle. If you wanted to check it out or play around with it, you can. Okay. And then here is talking about professionally made helper videos. Well, Screencast-O-Matic makes way nicer videos than Brad does. So I have given you a link to their tutorial site if you're going to use Screencast-O-Matic, or you could use Screencastify. Actually, you know what? Let me add that on a little note. I'll add that too. So Screen vids from Castify. Okay, and I've used both Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic, and I've used them lots. But over the years, or the times that I've used it, I much prefer Screencastify than Screencast-O-Matic or any of the other services that are out there. Now, of course, again, those services are for if you're doing a screen video, right? If you're doing one behind you, well, you can use whatever you want. You can use your camera on your phone. You can use a tablet, whatever works best for you. Okay, but let's look at the checklist here for a sec. So let me make that bigger. Okay, so you need to create a video that is 2 to 5 minutes in length. Okay, demoing or showing you teaching a topic or concept from the K-12 curriculum. Okay, so it's got to be K-12 curriculum, right? And again, your screencast should show you teaching the viewer something, right? Screencast should teach, right? The viewer something, right? So again, here, no slideshows allowed. Okay, so only because I find that slideshows are or can be very boring. So I don't want you using slideshows. I want you to come up with something original. Okay, so obviously I had put slideshows that if you do a slideshow, a video on a slideshow, you get a 0. Okay, only because students in the past have still created slideshow videos. Okay, so again, your video lesson should have a introduction. It should have like a body, right? Your of the main kind of part lesson that you want to talk about, and it should have a conclusion, right? And that conclusion should be something that like summarizes, okay, like it says here, all right, boys and girls, what you should have learned today is what the 5 senses are. Let's review, blah, 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 blah. So you could have kind of like that conclusion summary at the end of your video as well, just to remind viewers what they've learned in your video. And that's really especially important if you're making videos that are longer than, you know, a couple minutes. But I still want you to do it because it's good practice. Okay, you must be on the screen for the entire video, either full screen. Again, if you're shooting the whiteboard behind you, it'll be a full screen, or in one of the corners of your computer screen if you're doing a screencast, traditional screencast. Okay, you have to seem like you're enthusiastic, right? Here is the quote. If you're not excited about what you're teaching, how do you expect your students to be excited about what you're teaching? Okay, so you need to show enthusiasm and that like you actually care. Okay, and you might be sitting there going, duh, Brad, of course we need to do that. But it's only in there because students they've made videos that they totally look like they could care less about what's going on, you know, what they're teaching. So, and again, you got to think of who might in the end watch one of these videos: a parent, a principal, your superintendent, you know, whoever there. So you need to like, it's game on. It's just like you would be in front of the class, energetic, teaching, smiling, all that kind of stuff you need to be doing, right? That your on-screen appearance looks semi-professional. So gentlemen, no ball caps backwards and things like that, right? You will not dress like that in the classroom with students. So I would expect that you'd look semi-professional, at least in your video that you're making for this class. Okay, so again, you should look, and I'm not asking you to go out and buy a shirt and tie and a new dress or whatever, you know, everyone. I'm asking you just to make sure you're not, you know, looking unprofessional. Okay, because again, you might want to use it in your e-portfolio, and who knows, we'll see it and be impressed by it. So make sure that you look semi-professional in your video. Okay, you can use instructional aids, right? So again, if you're teaching on the whiteboard, you might be holding things up, or you might use manipulatives or whatever. You can, that's awesome. If you are doing a screencast, that's a little tougher to do, but there are certainly definitely things that you can use, and I'll show you in a second what some of the things you could do. Okay, then I want you to upload your screencast or your video in whichever format you've got it in to your YouTube channel. Okay, and then you need to give your title, your video professional title, etc. So let me just go to YouTube and show you what I mean by that. Okay, so at this point, we have to just assume and pretend that I've uploaded my video. When you're uploading it, you're going to get this screen. Okay, on this screen, you need to put in some type of a meaningful title that means something to your students. You should put a like 1 to 2 sentence description. So, you know, here, you know, it was just on graphic organizer notes and the how-to video. You all understand that. So that's what I put in there under description. The next thing down is to choose a thumbnail. Now, as you can see here, that Google or YouTube as it produces the video and uploads it and all that jazz, it'll give some screen grabs that it thinks might be useful to you. You can use those, or like I do, I just upload my own picture. Okay. You also will be required to add create a playlist. So you can just go new playlist, and then you can add whatever one you want on there. Okay, for whatever grade, topic, subject that you're doing. Then down here, you're going to say, even though I know it is made for kids, we're going to say, no, it's not. Okay. Because there's a whole bunch of different rules that apply when you say this. So it's just much easier to say no. And in my case, obviously for this class, it's made for adults, right? But what we want to do is we want to go down here and go show more. Okay. Down below there, there's a whole bunch of different things. Now you can check off the ones that apply to you. Obviously, this is not a paid promotion, right? Do you want to allow automatic chapters and automatic places? Sure. Why not? Okay. You can do that. You can add tags like, you know, it would be EDUC 1302, Screencasting, RDP, Brad McDermott. You know, you could add tags if you want. Go ahead and add a couple. You don't have to add, you know, tons and tons of them. And basically what they say is if you don't really give a great description up here of what your video is about, tags can help people find your video and content and that kind of stuff. So you might want to add a couple of them just as a try it out, you know, 1302, and then just a comma, right? What was this one about again? Oh, yeah, right. Graphic organizers, right? You might just want to type in graphic organizer, something like that, right? And it'll just add the different tags for you. Okay. Video language, it should default to English, Canada. If it doesn't, it's just a drop-down menu to choose that language. Here, you don't need to do anything under caption. Okay. Under title and description, again, should be English Canada. It'll be the recording date. It's just a drop-down for a calendar. So you can choose whatever date you want there. Under the video location, we're going to go Red Deer. Okay. If you just type in red, it should come up. And then you can just select, like, so I'll just show you here. See, it comes up in a menu. Okay. So you can do that. Your license will be standard. You don't need to do anything here, although there are different types of things here. We'll just do a standard YouTube license. You will allow embedding. If you don't have this checked on, you really can't add your video to things like your ePortfolio or other places like that. So leave that one on, or even Google Classroom or a Google Form. It doesn't work. Your video won't work properly unless you say allow embedding. So I just leave that one on automatically so that in case I want to put it somewhere else, I don't ever have problems with it. You can publish to your subscription feed and notify subscribers if you have them. I don't really have subscribers, so I don't have that turned on. And of course, all my videos are unlisted and all that jazz anyways. So are you going to allow them to sample? Yeah, sure, why not? Let them sample it, okay? Category is education. The type will be, well, you get a choice, right? So for me, this would have been a lecture or a how-to, but you only get to choose one, so you can choose one. The academic system is Canada, and then the level here, well, you can see that there's different levels. Now, if you didn't choose kids, and like this video is made for kids, you're not going to get these ones, but you can choose some of the other ones. And of course, obviously for us, it's tertiary education, which is post-secondary, right? Here, you don't really need to put anything about the exam or whatever. Don't worry about that. And then you need to decide whether you're going to allow comments, right? I don't, so I disable comments. And then do you want to show how many viewers like your video? Well, you got 30 kids that are going to watch your videos. It's up to you. You don't have to have it on. Okay. Once you have all those settings set up like that, then you hit save. And because this video is already uploaded and processed and stuff, so there's like two steps. One's you're going to upload your video, and then it uploads 0 all the way up to 100%. And then what it does is it processes your video. And then the other thing it does is it does a check so that you're not using copyrighted material in there. So please don't add songs that are, copyrighted songs, because Google will give you a nasty little email saying you broke the rules. So don't use copyrighted material in your videos. Otherwise, Google and YouTube gets all excited about it. Okay. Now, let's just go back to the checklist here. Did I miss anything? Got that. Professional title, short description. You also must, in your description, you must include your outcome. Okay. And your outcome is just like we've done previously, right? SLE 6, page whatever, and you just like you did on the brain lesson plans and in other places as well. Okay, set your privacy to unlisted unless you want it public. If you want it public, go for it. It doesn't matter to me. But just remember, public means that anybody can search that video. And obviously, we don't want to have it as private because then no one can see the video. Okay, education, choose, highlight your cursor in Screencastify. So I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. If you're going to use Screencastify, and I'm going to go record now, I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to go record. It's going to say, well, because I got more than one screen, it's going to say what screen. So I'm going to say this one. Okay. And then it gives me a 3-second countdown, which I set up. And then down here, you're going to have some tools. Okay. And in those tools, what it'll do is it will show or not your mouse where it is on the screen. So you can see that little red circle. So there's the, you should have that turned on if you're using Screencastify. You could have the pen turned on, right? So you could actually draw right on your screen. Okay. The rectangle tool is just exactly what you think it is. Okay. And then there's you can also add stickers, right? If you want to use some of those. So when it says in the checklist to use, was it like manipulatives or teaching aids or whatever, you could use these. There's an eraser, and then this starts the webcam. So if you forgot to put your picture in the bottom corner, you can start the webcam. And just so that you know, you can drag that wherever it best suits your needs so that it's not in the way. You can do that. Okay. And so those are all the tools that you have at the bottom here with using Screencastify. And of course, you can pause your video, collect your thoughts. Okay, I'm good to go now. And then you can start recording again. When you're done your recording, you can hit stop. And then I'll show you what happens here again. You'll get this Screencastify thing. It's going to ask you to set up an account. Just use your EDU credentials to do that. Okay. And then if you're in Screencastify, you've got to wait until this processing part up here occurs. And then you could, just like in Edpuzzle, you can now add interactive questions if you wanted to. Okay. You don't have to, but it is definitely a possibility. And then once you're done here, you can export your video to YouTube. Now, you're going to have a 2 to 5 minute video, so it shouldn't take very long, but you need to have a pretty decent Wi-Fi connection to do that. Okay. Now, for like today's video for this class, I will actually export it as an MP4 because there's a big 10-minute gap in there where there's no one talking and that stuff. So there's some things that I might want to edit out of that video. And so I usually download it or export it when I want to do some editing to the video afterwards before I upload it to YouTube. But I don't use it. I don't do that very much. Okay. So you have to get that video on YouTube. Once it's on YouTube, then you'll get the URL, and I'll just go back to my video. So here's my video, right? There's my URL. I can copy it. So link copy to clipboard. And then in Google Classroom, you'd paste that in as your submission for the assignment. Okay. All right, let's just go back to the checklist for a sec. You've done that. Again, you can hear your voice. So here's what I suggest you do, because sometimes you have your mic volume, people have their mic volume turned down too low. So make sure that your mic volume is turned up probably almost to full blast. Okay. And then what I would recommend doing is that when you hit the record button, regardless whether you're doing a screencast or a video from the whiteboard, is that you pause it after, I don't know, 5 seconds and just check it and make sure that the sound levels are good, that you're actually getting recorded, that kind of stuff. And then you can, 5 seconds, you can just erase it and start over again. And then all your settings will be good. Other thing to avoid is sitting at the kitchen table or wherever and having a big bright window behind you, because then all you look like is a big dark silhouette, and that's not good either. Okay. So again, the viewer can clearly hear your voice and understand what you're saying. You speak like you know what you're talking about and that you actually care about it, right? So you will probably need to have a little bit of notes for yourself to make sure you get through the video correctly and like I said, professionally, and that you can talk with some confidence, right? That the pace of your lesson is suitable for your audience and your grade, so that you're not going too fast and the little grade oneers can't follow you. And then, is your video actually correct or factual? And again, you might be like, duh, Brad, but it's in there because people sometimes make videos that are not. And so therefore, we need to have that in. The last piece here before we get down to the YouTube part is the highest quality video setting that your camera can do. So 720 or 1080p are the two recommended resolutions. When you're in YouTube, you can see that this is standard definition. That actually is not actually high enough. I don't know why it's in standard, but I'll just go here for a sec. So obviously, I'm sure you all know that you can come down to the gear here and you can make sure that the quality is at least 720, if not higher. Okay, so otherwise it's just too fuzzy and it's just not a very good video to watch if it's not a good high quality video. Okay. All right, so we walked through how to set up your YouTube channel already. When there's so if you're watching the video of how to set it up and there's any references to rdc.education, that used to be our old email address before we changed to Polytech. So just think of this as your RD Poly EDU account. Okay. Is there anything in here that I didn't mention? Right. Okay. So again, I'd like you to share your link in Google Classroom. And when you go, add or create, there will be a link button. You use that. Do not paste your link for your video in the private comments. Okay. And again, I only say that because that's what people do instead of putting it into Google Classroom. Okay. And just from my end, it just saves me a bunch of steps having to click all over the place when I'm actually marking these. Okay. Now this does have a wow factor again, because we've got the basic requirements here for your video assignment. What are you going to do that is going to make your video stand out, right? If we watch 10 videos and you said, that's the best video, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that wow factor, saying that was the best video. So that you can add and do anything you want to make your video a little bit more excellent than everyone else's. All right, thoughts, questions? Could screen record on my iPad? Yep, Jasana, yes, you could. You can screen record on your tablet or your iPad, and you can do basically exactly the same idea as you do here. And of course, on a tablet or iPad, it's ideal, right? Just like here, right? I can write whatever I want. I can do math questions, right? I can do all kinds of different things. So tablets are really, really useful for this type of activity. Of course, if you've got a screen that you can touch and you can write on with your finger or a stylus, use that if you want or you need to. And for those people that don't have that, then just do whatever you can do. Okay. Other thoughts, questions, things that are on your mind? No, everybody's good. Okay. So for this assignment, again, make sure that you're going to submit your link, but also you need to submit your completed checklist here of all the things that are on this checklist. Okay. If you are choosing to use a different software other than Screencastify, just again, what I would do is I would make a 10-second video and make sure that everything's working in the software that you're choosing to use, and that you can actually upload that type of video file up to YouTube so that you can complete the assignment that way. Okay. All right. I don't think there's any more questions or comments. So that means that I'm done talking and that the rest of the time between now and 11:50 is your time. So you can head on out, you can stick around, ask questions, do whatever you want to do. And I'll be here till 11:50 for anybody that needs help with anything. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. I'll just stop the recording now.